Yo, what's good everybody? This is DP and I'm back at it with another Anthem video, and today we're going to be talking about some stuff. Actually, today all we're going to do is just going to be talking about Anthem in general. Everything we know so far and everything we keep getting featured, whether it's on Twitter or on the page, the official page for the game, and everything that Mark Derrett is giving us on Twitter, all the questions that he's answering. Now, one thing that I want to say, if you're new to the channel, before we get started, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and stay connected because we'll be doing a lot more if you don't. But anyway, guys, let's get this shit started. All right, now here what I want to talk about is Anthem, the game, what we got, how the game is looking. So far, as you see, the game is looking pretty solid. It's looking very promising. Anthem is one of those games that people are looking at like to be the messiah of video game. And then now, right there, there's a small problem. That's also the same thing that happened with Destiny. The same amount of hype that we are having right now with Anthem was the same thing that drove Destiny. The record, the number of sales that Destiny did on the first day of release was because of the hype that was behind the game. And you have to understand that you don't know a true nature of a video game until you play it a week in. And that's what happened with Destiny. So many people were disappointed because once we realized what the game was, it was too late. They already got our money. Most of the time you can't even get a refund, especially at GameStop. You don't. And on PlayStation Store here, you don't get a refund. Those are the things. So you already give them that money. That's just because they want to, hype you up with this game, this notion that the game is going to be the shit. And once you get it, it's not the case. But also one thing I want to discuss is about the expectation that we as gamers set ourselves to. Because you have to understand that as a gaming community, one thing that we need to understand is that you cannot set yourself with so much high expectation when the game is a new IP like Anthem, because you do not know the nature of the game and how the game is going to be. We don't know anything about Anthem. We know that the game is being released. We know the game is looking fantastic right now with all the features that they're adding into the game. And basically everything that you ask Mark Derrett on Twitter, they have it. Some form of that into the game. So Anthem is looking like that one game that everybody wants. And BioWare is making sure that we, the community, get what we want into the game of Anthem. And that's also setting expectation very high. But you need to understand that just because all of this thing is being added into the game doesn't mean that the game will come into perfection. And that's one thing you need to understand. You cannot go into this game wanting the game to be perfect, because there's no such a thing as perfection. And your expectation, you need to set it to a level where you will go into this game knowing that the game can disappoint you or can literally blow your mind. Those are two things. You cannot go in there thinking that this is going to be the messiah. This is the game that's going to kill every other competition out there, because that's really that's not the right way to see it. And we also need to see that BioWare and now have a lot on their hand. So the pressure that you put on the company who's creating the game can also affect the way they perform with the game, because the demand that we are having for them can literally push them to make mistakes that they might not even see just because of how many things they're trying to add into the game. And that's one thing as a gamer we need to understand, and we also need to give them room to do what they want to do, because a video game is a game being played, it's the game being made for us the player to play, but for the writer to tell us a story, and for the dev, whatever the other people do, to actually do what they feel like the game is going to be. The direction they want the game to go is what we have to let them do. It's not, we cannot come in and then tell them to do something we want them to do rather than something they want to do. That's one thing that we need to understand. Like when you tell somebody a story, you don't tell someone the story because of what they want to hear. You tell them the story you want them to hear. That's how the game is. So when they make games like that, they make a game they want you to play, not a game that you want them to make for you to play. And same thing goes with the story. Like Destiny, for instance, if we go back to that, Destiny was a mess because they cut off so many content. Even though when the game released, they promised us something and they delivered something else. But the reason why the thing hits so many people so the way it did is because the expectation that they had was not realistic. You were expecting this game to be the biggest hit of the year, but it wasn't. That's just because when you got the game and you went in there, you were literally already up there. You were flying with Jesus somewhere, and then you can do that. You know, the hype train was going so fast with Destiny that literally there's nowhere for it to stop. So when the train finally crashed, everybody realized, oh shit, I should have never got on that train. And that's the same thing I see with Anthem. I'm not saying Anthem is gonna fail, but there's a possibility that this game can fail and can succeed. But even if the game do succeed, understand that a success can also lead to failure, just because of how they go the aftermath of the game. If the game is a success today, yes, the decision that come after can lead the company to make stupid mistakes because of the success that they have. Oh, we see everything is going well for us, we succeed, this is the game of the year, and then we ask for so much that they give us the thing that we want and end up messing up the game. So we as a gamer need to really just keep it down. Like your expectations, set it to a level where you're not gonna go into this game and be disappointed with it, because that will really hurt the way you see game. Because now today there is a lot of game out there that's really good. It's not great, it's not the best, but there's a lot of game that's good, that's decent, it's enjoyable. Yeah, sure, you can play a game and it's irritating as hell, but those games are good. But the only reason why so many people literally hate certain video game is because when they buy a game or when they see a new video game somewhere on the market, a new dev coming in and introducing a new IP, get excited. You want the game to be the shit that you want to play, but you don't realize that the game is not only what you want to play, but other people want to play too. And the focus here is what the dev wants you to play, not what you want to play from what they're doing. So that's one thing we need to understand, and also get that Anthem, you cannot go into this game thinking this game is going to be perfect. No, that's literally setting yourself up for failure. That's the easiest way to do that, because once you go in and you realize, oh shit, this is not what I was expecting the game to be, that's because it's not perfect. And the one thing that BioWare need to understand is that they can't please everybody. That's just the reality of it, and they cannot try to want to please everybody or appeal to all the player base, because as a gamer, not every game will be a game for you to play. Not everybody will enjoy the same type of game that you enjoy. I don't like to play, what's his name, football game. I just hate that shit. I just find it stupid. But I love FIFA, and then some people play FIFA and Madden. I hate third-person shooter in first-person game, but I play Call of Duty just because I like Call of Duty, but I don't like the first person thing. What can you do? You know, you can't have the best of both, so it's one or the other. So that's one thing, and can't stress it enough, man. You guys seen the Division was shit when released, because a lot of us say that the dev did not know what they wanted to do with the game. But more so, I feel like we did not really know what the game was, but we wanted the game to be something different than what the dev wanted it to be. That's my opinion. You know, it's like an MMO, RPG, whatever the case might be. Like, the Division was a game that was released, Destiny was a game that was released, and we all like, oh no, this is supposed to be a MMO type game, not the garbage that you're giving us. What? They went in and then tried to change things because they don't know how to make a game like that. It's like we have to go in with the mindset that, you know, this game might fail, but we have to give them room to grow. We can't force everything that we want into the game right away. That cannot work. We're just going to overwhelm them with so much stuff because they just, maybe they won't even see it. Like, they're doing so much that they might not even be able to handle it. So we need to be careful, and BioWare need to be careful with Anthem not to overwhelm themselves with content and a game that's just being released. They're just working on it. This is the first time working on a game like that. Yes, they had Dragon Age and then they had Mass Effect and Andromeda where they tried, and we all know how that shit went. Even though it's not directly BioWare who did it, but still they were somehow involved in that game. Anthem, they're working on it. Look like Destiny 10 New Pro Plan announcing that without even releasing the game, without knowing how this is going to go. The game might even die day one, who knows. But they're already confident that's going to be a 10-year journey, meaning they are open to that and actually working on the game and improving it. But again, I can't stress enough to say that, you know, guys, let's keep the hype down, man. If you on the hype trend, get off of it, because you might get very disappointed if the game is not what you want. Set your expectation somewhere in the middle, not too high, not too low, but right there to where you can get the game and see what the game is all about. Play the game. If you enjoy it, well, you want more, sure. If you don't enjoy it, you did not go in there thinking the game is going to be the messiah of a video game, you know. So that's one thing a lot of people fail to understand, that, you know, you cannot go into a game like this thinking that this is the game that's going to solve everything in video game community, in the gaming industry. That's just false. Like, when reality hit, you realize that, oh shit, this is not what it's supposed to be. That's just because what you wanted the game to be did not turn out to be what you want, and therefore the game is a failure. When you set yourself too high, you only putting yourself in front of failure. Literally, you walking the path of success with such a high expectation to where you don't realize that you're going down the hill of failure, disappointment. But be neutral when you go into Anthem. I haven't pre-ordered the game yet. I'm thinking of pre-ordering the game a week before the beta drops, so I can see. But obviously I'm gonna get the game, because, you know, if you making content for this game, you're gonna have to play the game somehow, and then that's the only way I'm gonna let people know whether or not you should get the game or not. But I feel like a lot of people will get the game day one. Play the beta, and when you do play the beta, don't play the beta just to enjoy the game. Play the beta to see if this is the kind of game you want to put yourself into and want to play. Check everything, analyze, look around, what works and what doesn't work. How does those features that they will give us into the game will look like? How does it feel to play Anthem? Rather than just going in there thinking, you know, this is the best shit ever, and I'm playing it like a little kid who just got a new toy. The game to understand the game and see if the game is yours. Do not play it just to be a fan, because this literally is a deciding factor whether or not this game is yours or not. Kind of like Monster Hunter. A lot of people play Monster Hunter, but when they go into the game, first thing they do, they grab the most OP weapon, like the Great Sword. Dude, if you're a beginner, you never play this game, the sword is not gonna be for you. You go into combat, you're gonna get shredded. Literally, you're gonna get beat up by the monsters. That's just because that thing is for advanced player, but a lot of people don't see that. So every game is not for everybody, but we can all afford to play a certain game just if we take the time to study the game and understand it. And Anthem is, I can't stress it enough, man, that's what you need to do. Be careful on which side you're on, and also don't get too hyped up for the game. Just set your expectation to a level where you can go in and not have the same thing that Destiny did. Content. BioWare, like this game, it will have a lot of content to keep player going. How are they going to do it? I don't know. Repetition in video game is a thing. It's bound to happen. A lot of people don't like the game to be repetitive, but you have to understand it depends on how the game is done. First Destiny 1 was repetitive as shit, so annoying and hard because the bosses were bullet punches. Division was the same thing. Something were lacking. There's no reason for us to go back in and play a game. Everybody wanted the same thing in Destiny, the color horn. You don't get it? Now, that's all you want. That's the whole reason why people do Nightfall and things like that, just relying on RNG and stuff. But in terms of content, they did not really have much, and the game was repetitive. Every game is repetitive. There is never a game that's going to have new content every time you log on to the game to play it. That's just nah. When you play FIFA, you just go back in to play FIFA, kick the soccer ball. That's literally all you do. It's repetitive, but it just gives you a different fun, I guess. Playing soccer, the whole game is about soccer. That's all you do. When you log into a Madden, you play football. That's all you do. When you go play Call of Duty, you just go shoot people online. That's all you do. Game like this are the same thing. You go into the game, you were going to do the same mission you did yesterday, maybe for something different. But now the thing that makes it fun is if the dev add new weapon for people to go after. then there we won't have any problem actually doing those missions because there is a reward attached to it. But if there is nothing and the game is just throwing it at us, then that's the problem. And that's one thing that BioWare need to also be careful with. Don't overdo it and then just come short on what you're trying to do. So that's all I'm gonna say, and I think I'm gonna end the video right here, man. That's just me talking. I feel like I just need to make a video and just let you guys know where I stand with this. And yes, I haven't pre-ordered the game yet, and I will encourage you not to pre-order the game yet until you can probably wait and get the beta and try it out. If you have like the origin access, you can also do that. Decide for yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, share the video on your favorite social media, let your friend know about it. Like I said earlier, if you like the video, then there's something tells me that your friend might also like the video. So yeah, peace out, and I will see you on the next video.